So today we're going to talk about upper body warm-ups and what we do to make things different. And one big thing we do to make things different is change hand positions, and I'm going to show you the big ways to make that accessible and usable. So the first thing we have here today is the normal cable tricep push down that almost everybody does. Pretty common exercise. Now, as you can see in this bar, this is what we call a mustache bar, but you see all these different angles on this. Now, this angle was originally designed to be here and to reduce stress on the wrist. And that's a good idea, but the problem is that one position the same way all the time is going to create a lot of overuse issues. So the first thing that we need to combat is mileage. And that's the first portion of this, is the reason that we change what we do and the positions we do it in is to reduce mileage. Now, there might be the fastest way to get better, might be to do the exact same thing all the time. But then you're going to run into the other problem, which is why you need to rotate stuff, which is called the law of accommodation. So let's lay those out on the board and take a look at those. The first law that we have to really put in mind is the law of accommodation. This law pretty much states that if you use the same stimulus too long or too often, it's not going to have as a potent of a punch or an effect on the body. How do we kind of adjust from that? Well, the big thing we do is we change the mode. And what does the mode mean? Well, tricep extensions with a cable, you can only do so many ways, but if you have a couple of different variations, i.e. normal grip, supinated grip, wide, narrow, and different implements, now we can make a similar exercise just different enough that the law of accommodation becomes our friend and not our enemy. This is the true power of having a rotating system with multiple libraries of exercises. Now, if you're looking for more exercises, we're going to start building that library on the Patreon channel, but for today, I'm going to show you some of the big ones that we use all the time. The next big thing that we have to always keep in mind when we're doing our training, what we keep in mind here at the gym with our online clients and all that stuff, is reducing mileage. You know, it's not really that complicated to get stronger unless you're already at a really high level. Most beginners can get stronger with very basic programs. But can they get you stronger with keeping the mileage either low or nilch? One of the best ways to do that is to constantly change the exercise, and that will reduce the mileage, meaning that the pressure gradients change depending on how I have my hands set, depending on how I have my body set. Therefore, it's going to not only create a law of accommodation kind of trick by doing something different all the time, but it's also going to keep the mileage low. In my opinion, over the last 30 years of training my ass off, I've realized that I can train a muscle really hard as long as it's a different stimulus all the time. That also keeps me growing, but also keeps the mileage down on the ligaments, tendons, and bones.